Welcome back. Everyone has had a hobby or two as kids. At times, a hobby that interests us as kids slowly ceases to interest us as we grow up. And at times, a hobby like photography or painting transforms itself into a full-time career option. Whatever it is rare to find someone who has been as involved in a hobby at 70 as he was when he was 7, all the while miraculously having found time for it despite his busy professional career. Our personality of the week is Mr. Rabi Venkatesan, who likes breeding different varieties of fish. Although it looks so, but this is far from being the largest fish tank you would see in Rabi Venkatesan's house. When he's not sitting in this room and working on the accounts of his export business, Rabi takes a stroll inside his fish farm that houses more than 100 fish tanks. Breeding fish has been Rabi's hobby since he was a kid, and it has surprisingly grown from one aquarium to 2 huge fish farms despite his growing business.
Very young, maybe 6 or 7, when I started this hobby in a very accidental way. I was having tuition, and the master was very interested in fish, and he had a lot of tanks. And he was also very popular, so he was very busy. And the students who had to wait had to be occupied somehow. So I was one of the guys who was asked to maintain his tanks and clean it up and things like that. So that's how I got interested in the hobby.
Rabi and his assistant for last 10 years, Vicky, breed 10 different varieties of fish here. The first ones to greet you would be the prettily striped angelfish. Angelfish is a freshwater species reputed to be so intelligent that it recognizes its owner. The fighters, distinct by their bright red color, are grouped together in the same tank when young, but are taken to different sections when they grow up. Breeding so many different varieties and maintaining more than 100 tanks is no doubt a monumental task. Rabi says that no 2 species breed the same way, which makes the job all the more difficult. A lot of detailing is involved, from siphoning off the dirt in the tanks to the proper packaging of the fish for transport. Old age is a barrier at times, but then Rabi and Vicky are far from letting this hobby fade.
Yeah, as you know, this is an everyday job with a hobbyist to have to siphon all the tanks. But as you know, I'm getting old, so I get my assistant Vicky to do it every day. So he does the actual siphoning. You can just, he just siphons all the dirt from the bottom, and then as much water that's been taken out with the dirt, it is refilled again.
Despite his geriatric complaints, Rabi has managed to do an impressive job of breeding fish. He has bred a unique variety of red mollies, a species of fish that is found only in black or silver.
Started getting interested in improving the strain, their color, their finish, and things like that. So in the molly, as you know, the normal molly was black or grey molly, and we have produced the blood red molly, which is our specialty. And also recently I've bred the Danisoni, which no one else has bred in India.
It is heartening to see how Rabi Venkatesan always knew that his love for these little beauties was to stay for long. Moving on, the next story is about someone who was always passionate for books and wanted to have her own publishing house. So sometime back, this MBA graduate broke away from the mesh of managing a business, took some time off to decide what she wants to do in life, and is now the proud owner of Helios Books, Chennai's new publishing house. Meet an Odissi dancer, a Russian ballerina, a black belt in karate, and a world champion all in one. Geetanjali JB, who until some time back was managing her husband's business, now owns a new publishing house in the city. Marrying her passions for books and managing her own business, this young MBA graduate has set a confident foot forward.
After doing my MBA, I was working in various national and multinational companies, and after our marriage I worked in a family business of setting up of power plants. But when the company grew, and about 6 years and 100 employees later, my husband asked me, is this what you want to keep doing? And that's when I took some time off, and after 3 months of self-reflection, I came to this conclusion that I wanted to start a publishing house, because there had been many occasions in the past where I had wanted to read certain kinds of books, but they were not available in bookstores.
Little did she know that Helios's first book would be a hit in no time, especially when it's a period love story set in Kerala of the 1930s. As with this book, each manuscript is a product of original research that goes on in this office. Geetanjali, who is doing her PhD thesis on the concept of immortality, plans to bring out books that would enlighten the society on the tenets of Vedas and spirituality.
Books and music are the only things that I buy. Having gone through and read quite a number of books, I still felt that there are certain books which are not available yet. In India, for instance, you ask anybody what's great about Indian culture, and promptly comes the reply, our Vedas and Upanishads. But not all of us know, not many of us know that what that contains.
It would be wrong to dismiss Helios as a publishing house for spiritual books. Its next book in the pipeline, Bot's First Adventure, is an attempt to teach children geography the fun way. But for any publishing house taking its baby steps, it's no child's play to find decent authors from the word go.
I would say that I have been very lucky in getting very high quality authors. To give you an example, there was a book called A Many Splendid Thing, which was one of my favorites as a college student, and which had gone out of print. I wanted to have a reprint of the book, and I sent it to somebody for a review. And he not only gave me a thumbs up for this book, but he put me on to the author of my first book, The Wind and the Rain. I just chanced upon this gentleman who had been working on Vedic symbolism for the last 30 years and was in fact looking for a publisher when we met, and that's when we decided to work together. And I was surprised to find that he already has so much of material to start with.
Having said that, Geetanjali is not one to bother much about the sellability of a manuscript.
I am not concerning myself too much with competition, because I think there is a room for every player. We all have our strengths, and I have identified a niche in which I have competence as well as high quality people.
Helios is a book publishing house that believes in bringing the dynamic truth out to the city. They are on the verge of releasing books in many genres, like history of India, some fresh perspectives, to present some important facets of Indian history in a new light. Bott's second adventure, The Amazing Amazon, a children's book to teach them geography the fun way. And Gitanjali, who is a strong follower of the principles of Sri Aurobindo herself, plans to bring out a book that would focus on exploring the grand and synthetic vision of Vedic thought and its relevance to the modern world, titled Vedic Vision in the Light of Sri Aurobindo. You can contact Gitanjali at heliosbooks@airtelmail.in. We take a small break here. On the other side, Memories of Madras.